Hello, everybody. What's up? I had to record this again because I kind of messed up my last episodes or my last recording, so I kind of have to record this again. But I hope you're all doing well. I had a great skiing trip last week, and I actually came across this exercise when I was on the trip back home. So I wanted to really talk about this, and it kind of ties into our last episode about instilling good things into the heart and kind of manifesting that way. But this is about the path to enlightenment, understanding absolute reality. So, where we could already come up with these special emotions and instill them into the heart, they kind of came from anywhere, and we kind of didn't know where to grab them from, right? But this is a good resource to grab them from. It's basically grabbing them from an absolute point of reality. So, reality is kind of determined by what can exist, let's say. So, it's kind of still a deterministic point of view. Like, you can still, let's say, it's still like a present point of view. Like, there's there's still uh, a nature to it, but it's not like dependent on like space, time, reality like we know here. So it's much more complex than that, and we also believe like there's other universes and stuff. So we shouldn't be limited to what we sense in the world around us. We should actually be able to create from our absolute reality. And I suggest you really imagine your own absolute reality. So before I go too far ahead, let's read up on this. This is a fairly easy but crucial exercise when it comes to discovering your spiritual nature or even nature in general. We try to imagine ourselves as separate from our environment. I'll try to explain this a little bit further. We try to access the infinite and absolute presence of ourselves, not dependent on our senses. So the first time you do this will be most powerful. If you're already used to meditating a lot, and you're already a spiritual person, you may just want to nudge that a little bit further and go for the absolute. It may just help you in your meditational process as well. So I suggest you really try this out. It really helped me reach this blissful presence. Uh, so before you do this, try to get an idea of what you would like yourself to represent if it was only determined by an abstract idea of reality itself. Yeah, that really would have helped me. I went for like my enlightenment, my pure enlightenment, basically, my pure form of enlightenment, and it gave me this blissful energy. I personally just fell into a blissful presence, which I then could reproduce at will after some practice. That's what happened to me. But you may want to go for something entirely different, so I don't recommend you go for this blissful enlightenment. But of course, I want it to be blissful for you, but you want to give your own taste to it. So, yeah, you basically want to meet your own God, your own higher self, your own higher identity. So, yeah, you really want to not be too stressful, I guess, about it, but maybe discover a little bit more gently. That could be it, or a little bit more characterized like you want it to be, like you already want to have an idea of what you want to reach for. That could help. But then again, you may find some resistance and it may not actually work the first time, so don't be too impatient about it and try to give it some time. You will find that even these big extractions will still be integrated in your life just fine. Of course, once you get used to handling this method of manifestation, you will want to pay attention to relativity. Yeah, that's the responsibility factor about it. You kind of don't want to zone out of life, and you kind of want to be responsible for handling your life as it should be. So, if there are things you gotta do, you gotta do them, and I don't suggest you practice this all the time, but if you're in a safe place, and you're actually doing what you're supposed to do, you can have some extra leeway, like you feel some extra room for this. You can probably practice this while you're at work, for example, if you're used to doing your work and you're just kind of in the flow state and you're kind of just at a peaceful uh, and safe place. So it's not entirely without risk, but if you're sitting in a comfortable, positive atmosphere, you'll most likely be fine. It's actually a lot like meditation, where you try to be at rest and peace with your environment. It's just that we take an active step. We actually do take the active step to realize the state of ultimate meditation or ultimate freedom. It's basically a shortcut to ultimate freedom and love, let's say. Because okay, let's think about this for a little bit, because we try to reach for an absolute form of reality from who we are. So it's it's possible that we're more like inclined to reach for these higher identities and this higher self through this method, because we kind of have to get facilitated, and we kind of have to get help from our higher self to reach these states. So you basically want to make sure you're aligned and you're feeling good about this before you push yourself to this absolute reality. So before you exclude yourself from your senses entirely, I suggest you also just make sure you meditate and you feel good. And yeah, you'll find a balance between. Okay, let's write this down. Uh, let's see. Do I want to put this here? Uh, as we know it. Motion. Okay. But now I know we can just kind of zone out from this reality with our senses. For me, my sight is like very important. Feel for absolute love and freedom. Yeah, so you kind of can zone out. You don't have to zone out entirely to feel this. But if you want to take the extra step and you want to get the extra mile out of it, I suggest you do fully zone out of your present reality about the physical universe, and you kind of just um just kind of feel for your own absolute presence. Okay, so the reason behind this is that we want to tap into the God experience. We want to create our own reality on this planet we're on. This level of manifestation actually seems possible from what I've experienced and heard from other gurus. I want to give you another example, but I'll wait for that a little bit. It's basically about tweaking your own perception and nudging that of others. A good and easy way to do this is by reaching for absolute freedom and love, because these are like metaphors for like the best possible feelings you can have and that other people are willing to share with you. So I don't mean personal love, I mean like more general love. And freedom is always good to think about. So these are like two words that really come up inside of me, and kind of I want to express them to you, you know, but you should be free from words. You should be more with your feeling than with your words, I'd say. I want to refer to my previous episode where I described instilling good states into your heart and loving your heart with your own creativity. Now we extend this creativity to our absolute presence. So we try to discover our absolute presence, and then we instill this feeling into our heart and try to work with it as we feel these states. So uh yeah, you kind of want to create your own uh reality with this, right? We can combine these exercises to achieve even greater forms of manifestation, or maybe more specific to your wants and needs. So we're kind of just busy altering the world all the time, and we're kind of just busy with that. But we can also give like more credit to our higher beings and higher self. So you basically want to align through meditation and feel when you are aligned enough with your present and future and past self, and maybe past identities and future identities and present identities, because I believe these higher forms can also have their presence in the now. You want to feel alignment with that, and alignment, it doesn't mean like you're like straightly aligned with everything, but it means like you're in a good place where everything is like working as it should be, and everything is actually turning out all right. uh, then you can push yourself, or you can request from yourself to access the absolute and discover these new energies which you want to work with. So it helps to be in a safe position where you're basically uh, safe, and where you can do anything you want. So uh, let's see some final words. If you let me explain to you my experiences on this. Like I was last week, I was on a skiing trip and I came back, and I was in the car, a 10-hour drive. It really took a long time to get back, and I basically started meditating and started pondering on this absolute freedom, absolute reality. So I got to this form of love which really came over me, and it actually filled my body, and it made me feel so good. So that's why I wanted to share this. Like, it really gives you potential to feel so good and to have such a great experience with the things around you. Like, if you're feeling good, most of the things around you will start to play in with that. And let's say people usually have a little bit more space for uh, these practices, because people are usually just on the grind and usually just on their own mindset, basically, and they basically forget about the essence of life, which is to really be present and to have um, influence in your own life. You know, that's basically the key to this exercise: to have influence on your own life and feel the manifestational power of your life. Now, these words are still like metaphors for what I really mean, but I hope you get a sense of what I'm trying to convey to you. Some final words. If you get spooked at some point, know that having a present form isn't so uncommon and should be natural. to be present at any point in time. This is basically all the guarantees I can give you for now. We may have to respect the process of integration more at a later point, but I trust we can figure this out together. This is about relativity and respecting our relativity, but I'd say if we're aligned well enough, uh, and we're also covered by higher beings who can help us really be ourselves. Like, if we're aligned with these principles, then we can actually be uh, safe about it and actually do our things which we want to get done. There's a lot of trust with this involved because we're only human, you know. We have to trust some sort of a god entity. And yeah, we have to trust. We have to trust. We have to believe, you know. Oh, I have one more example I want to tell you about. Like, I probably told you about this before if you've been following for a while, but I have like practiced meditation and I try to activate a state of pure meditation, like pure rest and pure peace. I try to utilize this state to actually instill into my heart what I wanted to experience. So I instilled that I wanted to meet someone, and then I actually met someone, for example. So you can actually set these uh, deadlines or goals for yourself, which you want to achieve, and you can actually make them work for you. So you don't have to go too far out of your way to do so. But if you want to go far out of your way to do so, you can also go like all the way beyond and go to the absolute, and you can actually integrate all these weird states that you want to have. But I don't want to focus too much on weird actually. I actually want to say like special states, and we want to be a little bit special about this. You know, we want to what, how do you call it? Like, we want to discern or distinct ourselves from normal people, and we want to kind of be more special with this. But as you come to find that you these higher states will also facilitate the needs of other people, you will kind of find like it has to be a balance of some sort, and you kind of have to work with this dynamic ambiguity about it. But that's just the human state. We all feel these states where we're like a little bit uneasy or like uncertain about what's gonna happen, but we're just trying to make things work with who we are and uh, what we can do as a human. Like, presence isn't so uncommon, so that empowers us like to say to our god entity, okay, presence isn't so uncommon, we can actually demand from you what we want, and we can actually lay these rule sets on you, and we can basically hold conversation about these things, and we can integrate into our life what we want, but it has to be in good alignment and good atmospheres to really do so peacefully. So yeah, I say respect everyone, respect everything, and just find your fun with it and find your good alignment with it, and just do your best, you know, do your best. That's all we can do. So guys, I appreciate you guys for watching this. As always, have a good one. I still recommend you instilling onto your heart about what you really want. That really worked out for me. Like, specifically in physical reality, you wanted to be representative by your heart, by your mind, and by your psyche. So work with the body as well as you feel more comfortable. And if you don't feel comfortable, try to meditate again and try to get some rest or something. But yeah, if you're like active and you're like feeling good, just go with it and try to apply this rule set of exploring absolute reality, and try to understand it as well. Like it's there's a reason why our world is shaped like this. Like it possibly comes from like a more absolute form of presence where this universe is shaped from, but yeah, we still have to kind of we kind of have to find our absolute freedom within this world we're in, and we're kind of just uh uh in conversation with this god entity which created the universe, let's say. Although there's possibly much more than the universe, there's possibly much more. But yeah, I'm kind of going on a segue here. So, okay, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I wish you good luck with this, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.